Well, hey guys, guess what? You're seeing us live because I clicked the live button, and there's a reason why I clicked the live button because we have a new intro. Yes, we have a new intro, and we are going to unveil said intro here in about 10 seconds. But I want to properly give credit to Mr. Wakedown because Wakedown made an excellent intro for this program, and I know he's super proud of it, but I'm super proud of it as well. Now, I do want you guys to pay attention to one thing because in this intro, it is, at least for me, volume wise, a little loud. So, rip headphone users ahead of time just in case it is loud. And we'll go ahead and I'm sure that we can put in an adjusted version.
Yeah, just go
Um,
ahead and turn down your volume right now.
yeah, just turn your volume, down where you can hear it, but just in case, because it is a little bit on the loud side. At least I thought so. So, anyways, without further ado, let's unveil the intro for our new show. So, check this out.
That's awesome.
No, it's not that. I almost played the I almost played the comics clip.
That's my opinion!
All right, here we go, guys. Man, all right, that intro is so fucking dope, man.
That was
Holy,
badass as hell.
dude,
That was
that
good.
was
Good job, Wake
dope as
Down.
shit. Wake
Hell
down,
yeah.
you are the shit, brother. Thank you
What's
so
up?
much. Again, folks, give me feedback on that. If it was loud, as Wake Down said, we could get the volume adjusted. Not a big deal. But thank you so much.
That
I
was
definitely
sick.
wanted to. I definitely wanted to come in live and debut that because, oh, that is so sick. I love that intro. Um, Sean Estep, what is up, man? Good to see you, brother. RR is here. Hail to RR. He's got the ghosty emojis ready. Love it. And RR's wrenching too, so he's keeping away all the bullshit bots, which is awesome.
Hell
Papa
yeah.
Cotton's in the house. What up, Wook? Good to see you.
Hola.
Mr. CCDB, what's up, bro?
I am
Good to see
afraid
you,
no
Mr.
ghost.
CCDB.
Dude,
Godzillionaire is in the house. Love the Dix Files intro. Nice, dude.
it had a very like X-Files feel to it. It was so good.
Dude, I loved it because it was like a mixture of X Files with remember the show with Robert Stack, Unsolved Mysteries? It was like a
Yeah.
mixture of X Files and Unsolved Mysteries.
Dude,
And it was dope.
it made me want to do an epic voiceover. Honestly, it did.
JT Gunther, what's up, brother? Awesome, man. And DJ Odyssey's in the house. Deej, yeah, I never heard back from you today, Deej. Hit me up either later this evening or tomorrow afternoon if you can on the offline side. Um, also, Stephen Ransom's here. What's up, Stephen? So thank
Ah,
you.
you abandoned the koala for Drew. Well, I mean,
Nice.
that's okay. We welcome you.
RR said it had X Files, Monsters, and Buck Rogers vibe to it. Very interesting. I like that.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, been watching this guy for a long time. If he's a hoax, it's impressive as fuck. YouTube.com channel really haunted. Yeah, I've actually seen some of that guy's stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that guy, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Like,
I do want to say, guys, if you want to help out the channel, obviously, hail Keely Chow, good to see you, brother. My pinned comment up there, I have my PayPal link. Anybody wants to throw anything to help out the situation, you can hit up the PayPal, or you can hit up Mom's Memorial Fund. You guys know where to find that. That's at givesendgo.com/Taylor Legacy. I'll drop that in the chat right now. And as soon as I do that, we will get on to talking about ghosties. Because I have the story that I'm going to reshare that I originally told on Final Death Star show on Enter the Unfamiliar. And it is a good story because it legit happened. And to this day, it left an impression on me. I still wonder what happened with that. So, all right. So there's the link for Mom's Memorial Fund. If you want to help in that manner, you can either use that or you can use the exclamation point tip command, or you can use the PayPal that's pinned at the top. Probably just easier to use the PayPal that's pinned at the top, whichever. But thank you so much, guys. All right. So before we get into the story, Corey, what is your take on, ghosts and those type of entities?
all right. So I kind of have an eclectic view, but I am a believer in the spirit realm.
Mm-hmm.
I am a believer in demons. I believe some ghosts might actually be temporal echoes. If time is fluid, you could echo on itself through a simple ripple.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the more visual representations of ghosts that we see could easily be time traveling echoes of the image itself. You never know. But I am a believer in demons for sure, and I think that's what a lot of the poltergeists actually are. So,
well, yeah, and I'm glad that you made that sort of discernment there because, if we look at it, obviously, and we'll do an entire show on just demonic entities. But I can tell you, if any of you happen to, and I know this is going to sound new agey as fuck, all right, but just bear with me. If you guys are third eye open type people, and you are tapped into that, okay, then you can tell when you walk into a place that has, quote, activity. All right. And there's a very easy way to tell the difference between ghosts and demonic type of spirits. Because as soon as you walk in, you can feel the evil, the malevolence,
The
the
heaviness. Yeah.
there's difference. And when you're dealing with, like, let's say, I love I love Godzillionaire's comment right here. Demonic entities. I thought this wasn't going to be a political stream.
Hey, there's some close
Oh,
ties there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but
and there is my wonderful friend Missy. She made it in. So,
hello.
Missy, how are you? It's great to see you. Bone, what's up, my friend? And RR says it's it's Nephilim time. The Nephilim. Yes. Oh, small time Republic, man. What's up, dude? Great to see you, buddy. I'm glad you are here.
Hell yeah. Welcome, welcome.
Mr. CCDB said there ain't no more Nephilim. Angels got smacked down Old Testament style when they hooked up with daughters of man.
Well, I have a scientific idea on that actually.
All
And it
right.
all right. So when the flood came, it wiped out all the people who were genetically compatible with the fallen, and therefore we can't have new Nephilim anymore because human beings had that removed from them, and then the world was wiped out by the flood. That's why we have demons now that are really pissed off because they can't have sex anymore. It's been eternity, bro. They're like, what the fuck?
Wakedown says I'm not religious, and trust me, folks. I know Wakedown. He is not. He's pretty just non-religious dude across the board, but he is spiritual and open-minded. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that global elites are corrupting the world for their pagan gods. Yeah, I mean that's exactly right, dude. This is because they are following kind of a paint by numbers formula, and largely it is influenced by exactly what you said. You're spot on with that. RR says not
Not
according to the
according to
Book
the
of
Enoch.
Enoch, and I believe he's addressing what you said, Corey.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. Um, Mr. CCDV says, I thought it was rocket surgery. I wasted my life.
A lot of people
Missy
did.
said, isn't Elon Musk a rocket scientist? Yeah,
Yes, and he
Missy.
finally proves he can pull out.
Yeah, Missy, I sent you the link if you want to join the show. If you have experience with the paranormal and ghosts, which I think that you and I have kind of touched on that discussion in our conversations from time to time. So if you would like to join, you should have the studio link in your Twitter DM. I do believe so. Yes, I did send it, but I shall resend it just in case. But no, the thing is with actual like ghosty type stuff, when you're not talking demonic entities, I I want to say that I think I'm on a track with you, Corey, where you I think that somehow it is a temporal imprint. It is residual energy that has, you know, attached itself to an an object, a area, something akin to that nature.
See, and it also has a lot to do, I think, with the presence of electromagnetic fields. And I'm not talking about the kinds that people look for with ghost meters, EMF detectors, and stuff like that. I'm talking about actual electromagnetic fields that are generated within old wiring and poorly built houses and stuff like that. And it can actually mess with the human brain as well. And whether or not it makes you more like receptive or whatever to say seeing these kinds of things, it can definitely affect you to the point that you do hallucinate a little bit and you might see demons. Some people have experienced that, and it's been shown that the high EMF levels in their house because of old wiring and stuff causes a problem with their brain. Ancient ley lines is also a really good one, Wake Down, because they have a lot of crazy like electromagnetic readings go on with ley lines as well. And like you can't deny the amount of like geomagnetic energy that runs through those things.
And speaking of that exclamation point tip command, folks, here it is, just the tip. If you would like to use that Extreme Elements thing to support the show, it all goes the same place. It goes to the PayPal. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Well, here's I'll tell the story, and I want you to kind of sort of take it from there, Corey, after I tell this story. So there's an area, and it is in Ohio here. It's a couple towns away from me. It's called Vermilion, Ohio. There is a legend. Now, this legend has been debunked um, since, but people actually still believe it. But there was a place, there's actually a road called Gore Orphanage Road, and there was a facility, an orphanage facility, and also boarding school called Gore Orphanage at one time. Now that burned down, and this whole legend started like, oh my God, a bunch of kids died in the fire, and you can hear their cries at night. Oh my God, it's so terrible.
Standard stuff,
and that has been a Lorain County, in Erie County legend for decades. But there is no denying when you go down to this area, okay, and I can tell you as a third eye open person, okay, you definitely can feel some things down there. There is some things going on. There are people who have had unexplained experiences down there for years, and it's just for some reason that area has a weird supernatural, whatever you want to call it. It just has weird properties to it, that general area down there. And you can get to this area if you go through the Mill Hollow Reservation, the Metro Park, and take the road down there. You can get to eventually the area where the Gore Orphanage, the foundation of the orphanage was, which really there's nothing that you get from that. But what the area around it, which is called Dean Hollow, there's a lot of interesting activity. Now, there has been all manner of activity down in this area from, satanic cults meeting down there to, unexplained phenomena. A lot of people have seen orbs. A lot of people have seen strange apparitions. things of that nature. Papa Cotton. There's stories about ghost dogs, cats, horses, even monkeys. Why no ghost dinosaurs? Well, I don't know.
Maybe the fossil fuels we're using were actually their souls that just withered away. Who knows?
RR says the best way to exercise a haunted house is light up a Walton Special Brew enema candle. Guaranteed to cleanse the house, but you'll need a gas mask for a while. Nice. Rita, hello. Great to see you. So glad that you're here, honey. The interesting thing with Dean's Hollow, though, because we went down there one night, and this was back at a time I actually worked at a popular haunted attraction that we had, called the Haunted Schoolhouse. And it was in the town of Vermilion, which is very, near to that area. And, myself and about 3 other employees that were my friends that also volunteered at the Haunted Schoolhouse, we were not working that night. So we decided to go down to Dean's Hollow, and we were going to just chill, basically token do, it's like, and just hang out and BS for a while.
Yeah.
So we went down there, and this was a typical like late July, early August evening. The temperatures, even for that particular time of the evening, which it was about 10 o'clock, somewhere around 10 o'clock at night. That Zillionaire says the best Cleveland haunted attraction, Cleveland Brown Stadium.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Zillionaire. Damn it. I love you, buddy. But the thing is we go down there, and it's well in the mid 70s out. So, you can tell that it was muggy. But the thing of it was, when we got out of the car, and I was walking next to my friend Heather, and then our friend Ken, our friend John, and we have one other girl with us, was all, they were trailing, right behind us. So, Heather was right next to me, and there's like this old sort of very old bridge that kind of tresses the Vermilion River.
One of the old steel bridges.
Yeah, we were walking on this bridge. It's actually, I believe, I want to say Route 113 runs through that bridge or something like that. But there's definitely like a little through bridge there, and but it's super old. And I've heard rumors about that bridge from people that have supposedly like killed themselves on that bridge, to all kind of manner of crazy stuff that's happened. There was reportedly also that I found out post this experience, a spirit, an apparition that has been seen by other people, a ghost of a woman, and she's dressed in period clothing, and I want to say it's from about probably late 800s time to early 1900s, somewhere around there. So let me set the scene for you. As we're walking, I get to the area where the center of the bridge is. And what happens is, there's a pocket, Corey, of like cold. So, obviously we've got 70-degree night. But then I walk into the, this pocket of cold, and it's right there in the middle of the bridge. It's like enveloped by it. basically.
Well, sorry, continue. I have a thought
So
on the cold spots, but I'll
no,
share it
you're
later.
right. In you know, you can throw in your 2 cents here in a second, but what happened was, all right, the next thing was super weird. So I get literally stopped in my tracks. Like I couldn't, like it was almost like you know when you play like an MMO or something and somebody casts a rooting spell on you? You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's almost like, I was rooted, dude. Like I couldn't physically like move. And then the
Yeah.
next thing that happened was what really struck me, because it was like somebody had sort of, it was like I was seeing images, thoughts in my mind, but they weren't my own. It was like playing somebody, snippets of someone's life like a movie. And there was this lady in period clothing. And what I had seen was, two men had left her uh, for dead down there, you know, um, after what looks like a situation like, the woman was sexually assaulted and left for dead, whatever. And, I'm just seeing flashes of this and everything else. And then this went on for felt like an eternity, but really and truly it's been probably about 35, 40 seconds. So then when this thing finally, I guess, lets go of me for uh to put it, that's the best way I could put it. It just like let go of me. I was able to move again. I was really shook up, and my friend Heather is just sitting there, like looking at me, like, man. She's like, you couldn't move or anything, and she's like, dude, you wouldn't even respond to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I could hear you. She's like, yeah, you could hear me, but you didn't even say anything, dude. And you couldn't even move. And we're all sitting there calling you, like, Drew, what the hell? And I was like, whoa, but um, it just really shook me up. And it was a situation where either this is something like Steven's mentioning, Steven Ransom, he said time dilation is a common thing in these settings. RR said it was trying to communicate with you, and what I want to know, was this an imprint? Because it makes sense, Corey. It supports your assertion that this is a time related phenomena, from the sense of this woman had period clothing on. She, there were a lot of clues to suggest that.
So, all right. Just stick with me here while I say all this. The cold spots could possibly be a result of said time dilations, thermal. Like it could be affecting the thermal balance in the area. It could even be doing it up to 10 to 15 degrees at times, to where it's absolutely notable. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I am not sober right now, so these are hard to collect all these thoughts right now. But so if time dilation were to happen, there would, it would require some form of energy, and all energy required it. All energy being used or any type like that has two byproducts. It's heat and light. And if there's no light and an absence of heat, that means the energy is probably being drawn away from that area. And if it's being drawn away from that area, then as we all know, something has to take that place. If it's a time dilation issue, then you could have walked into it and thus connected with the time period. However, if it's an entity, like let's just call it an entity, let's say, if and it was a spirit of this woman left over, let's say, she could have tapped into the bioelectrical signals in your brain and showed you all that while simultaneously paralyzing your body and your vocal cords, while leaving other senses open to because the speech recognition areas of the brain don't actually run off of the same power centers as the visual cortex and stuff. So,
Well, all right. Because I know that Stephen Ransom just mentioned the pineal gland, and you know, yeah, it's essentially your third eye, Stephen. You know, this is what we talk about when we talk about people opening their third eye. When you talk to the very like new agey people that explain opening your third eye, that's exactly what it is. That's basically your third eye chakra is right there. And a lot of times when you access your pineal gland, if you're able to do that, okay, or when that happens, there's some people that is something that they can access, and hence that is how you see people that, for example, you know empaths and like real psychics, like people that are mediums, people that are clairvoyants. Okay, this is accessing your pineal gland. So that's what that is. And I'm not talking about the charlatan psychic people. I'm talking about people that actually have next level cognitive ability, not people that are just taking your money. Because there's a difference.
well,
There are grifters in that, unfortunately.
one of the important things to remember about the pineal gland is it controls the chemicals that get you to delta sleep. And what delta sleep is, it allows your brain to create its own images while you're sleeping. Now, if this happens while you're awake, it could theoretically open you up to being able to see extra energy sources because you're functioning essentially at a lower than normal brainwave pattern,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easier to sync with lower waves than it is with higher waves.
Right.
So,
And going along with what you said, oftentimes people that have access their pineal gland, however you want to pronounce it, people that have access that, whether you're an empath, whether you are a medium, whatever, when you go into a situation like an area that has quote activity, you have more of a sensitivity to either be able to see the phenomena firsthand or interact with said phenomena.
see, interacting is where I run into issues because sometimes it's involuntary, like in your case, but other times these like people that have interactions go out
Hail,
looking
George
for it. Hail
and
used to
hail
be a big
toxic
deal.
masculinity. Toxic masculinity said, "Ghosts are real. I was a skeptic until I saw them myself, sleeping overnight in the crew quarters for the USS Lexington." Yeah, I've heard the stories
Hmm.
about the Lexington.
Yeah, some of my favorite stories actually come from the Biltmore. I don't remember exactly where that's at. It's in the East Coast somewhere, but
It's in Nashville, North Carolina, dude.
is it?
Biltmore Estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
There's
I've visited it.
the Biltmore Hotel as well. Uh, has some great evidence that comes out of it. And I don't care what anybody says. Casey Nolan at Mindseed TV puts out the best content on YouTube for paranormal investigations.
Stephen Ransom said willingness is a key factor more so than powers. It's interesting. Yeah, and I could see that too. Stephen. My thing was that interests me was trying to find out exactly what happened. As I try to make sense of it, because naturally, folks, if you guys know me from my other content, and you know that the way that I think, the way that I function is on the journalist type of level. So I'm more of a skeptic when it comes to finding the truth. So I always want to start out with finding a rational explanation. And, the thing that eluded me about this experience was a rational explanation. I don't know how it happened. I don't know why I was rooted in place. I don't know why I had these particular thoughts or scenes in my mind that were essentially, replayed to me and didn't have control at that point. I mean, because this has bugged me for a number of years because I've tried to figure out the mystery about this, you guys. So that it's the damnedest thing because I've never been able to figure it out because I certainly wasn't sleeping. This was real time because I know I was there.
You might not ever find a rational explanation for that experience, though, because there's a lot of things in this world that violate rationality, even from naturally occurring situations. Don't ask me to think of an example because that's not happening right now, but I'm sure we've all experienced something where it's like that doesn't make any damn sense in nature whatsoever.
From your professional opinion, really quick,
Mhm.
Corey, what do you think of Stephen Ransom's comment right here?
Our will to witness is a common element of many fictions on this subject. Yes, I do agree with that because when you seek something out, you'll probably find it, or you might think you find it, and then you'll start inventing things uh, to find
Thanks,
things.
thanks, Zax. I appreciate the compliment, buddy.
Heck yeah. Hello, Zax. But our will to find anything, to find answers, has often led humanity to invent answers and fake things. That's why we have so many fakes. That's why I don't trust anything that comes out of Japan in the way of ghost videos, honestly,
Mhm.
because Japan has the same ghost video shot by like 3 million different people. It's like, oh, okay, well, no, it's the same ghost every time. Give me a break.
Godzilla says, think about history. Ancient civilizations were more in tune with the natural world versus what we deal with today. Why these things are rare or considered crazy.
Mm, that's because ancient civilizations were more open to the idea of it. Um, our modern society breeds skepticism and doubt everywhere you go in everything that we see and everything that we do. That's part of the shit that we live in these days. Back then, it wasn't like that. Back then, it was more survival focused, and then things that you couldn't explain or you felt connected to, you explored. And these days, it's you shun everything that you can't explain or you know, doesn't make sense, and you just have to figure it out.
Okay. You might know what CC's talking about here.
Alpha state is typically above like I want to say 120 to 140 hertz and up
Mhm.
is alpha, and then the higher alpha ranges once you're into the thousands of hertz in the frequency, then you're gonna hurt, or you can't hear it at all because that's not how the human brain works. But then again, you can't hear delta wave either. because that's down in the 60s, down to the 4s. So,
some things we still lack the rational tools to explain all things in light.
yep.
We do our best with the abilities we have, but it's the height of hubris to believe we can rationalize all it is. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, and that's very true. Are absolutely. Toxic masculinity says you can thank Descartes for all of
Descartes. Yes.
for all of the doubt.
He did do a lot. So did Nietzsche. Uh, I know Nietzsche was a great man according to a lot of philosophers, but that man was fucking. He was a depressing little bitch. Honestly, let's be real. The only thing I ever agreed with that he said was, "Without music, life would be wrong." Just saying. But I like that RR guy. He's smart.
No,
I
oh,
like him.
RR's awesome. He's a great mod too. Wakedown said it's even more simple than that, guys. Modern humans are literally poisoned and mentally conditioned to reject these ideas. That's by design by people who know the truth.
It is designed, and we see that we have terms for all of the different conditioning styles that humans have, and that's why we stopped believing in a lot of things. You know,
Stephen Ransom said, have either of you read any of John Keel's stuff on the connection between UFOs and mythology?
don't think I've ever heard of him.
I have not, but I will definitely go and check that out, dude. I will absolutely, because I like those connections. I've heard compelling arguments, and I don't want to turn this into a UFO show because we got plenty of stuff we could do on UFOs, and we're going to get there eventually. Because I like to keep the episodes compartmentalized to the topics. But I will say this though, one of the fascinating connections that I've seen with UFOs is how they kind of fit in our with our understanding of our deities. It's funny when you sit there and you think of the ancient aliens type theory. Why are people depicted even on our structures, with this otherworldly, halo above their head, the saints and people of that nature. A lot of times you see people regularly floating in the air depicted in that manner. You see so many different things, and you have to wonder, were these, beings that were extraterrestrials that were manifested in, yes, a human form, but were they otherworldly beings? So we don't, it's an interesting correlation. Put it that way. I think it's a fascinating discussion.
Absolutely, and I do think that there's a connection.
And mind you, by the way, folks, you guys know I'm a person of faith. I do believe in God. I am a practicing Catholic. And so, I do believe in the religious figures in the Bible personally, but I'm not closed-minded to listening to the discussion about that. See, you have the problem that if you take religion at the dogmatic level only, and you just refuse to allow in other perspectives, then you shut yourself off to free thought.
Well, I think that, and this is going to get a little controversial, but I think that's one of the biggest failings of modern Christian and Catholic religions is the fact that they, for some reason, think that God doesn't want you to believe in things like magic and ghosts and stuff like that, when the good book itself actually goes into great detail about the fact that you shouldn't practice these things. It says that they exist. So you don't practice these things. You don't divine in spirits. You don't practice witchcraft. You don't attempt magic. And there's reasons that the old ways got left out of the history books for normal people to consume. Because I guarantee you somewhere out there, someone has something like that, or it was lost in Alexandria, like a lot of things were. But, God doesn't tell you not to believe in magic or ghosts. He tells you not to seek it out and not to dabble in those things because they're inherently bad for you. How they're bad for you is still up for debate. You can debate that all you want, but it's from a Christian and Catholic perspective, it exists, but it's probably not good for you.
Yeah. Catching up on the chat, RR says much of the problem with Western philosophy and thought can be traced back to Descartes' mind dualism. Mr. CCDB says Immanuel Kant was a real pissant. He was very rarely stable. Sorry, more Python. Nice. You having a Monty Python fight with D, just hilarious. Let's see. Have y'all ever read Scott Adams, guy that did Dilbert, his book God's Debris? It's a short read, but an excellent theory about how the internet plays into religion. Stephen Ransom says that guy that he pointed out, John Keel, wrote the Mothman Chronicles. Okay.
All right.
Wake Down says, I'll take that a step further and say that wasn't the devil's greatest trick convincing the world he doesn't exist. It was CIA's.
Wow, that's a new twist on it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hail to Sean Eastup, Mr. CCDB, saying hi to him. Toxic Masculinity says, humans looking at UFOs is equivalent to monkeys looking at a toaster.
I actually disagree with that. I think humans looking at a UFO is equivalent to a monkey looking at a Ferrari. Because a monkey can figure out even how to fuck that toaster effectively without getting burned, even if it's plugged in. But it'll never figure out the Ferrari.
RR says the CIA may well be the devil's greatest trick. Nice.
You're not wrong there.
Mr. CCDB said, I was told that monkeys with typewriters wrote Shakespeare.
It's funny. I was told it was a flamboyantly semi-gay man back in the old days, back when he got killed for those things. Just saying.
Mr. Keogh made the claim that we were convincing ourselves the discs weren't dragons anymore. The goblins were now grays. Very interesting. Wake Down says the vaults under the Vatican are the greatest trove of knowledge humankind still has.
Yes, and it's probably the only thing in the entire world that ever rivaled Alexandria. And it's because they took a lot of the stuff down to those vaults. I want to see it.
Godzillionaire said, as someone raised Catholic, I have issue with the fact that address the Bible has been translated at least twice for me to read it in English. Yep. I've gotten my hands on some of the Hebrew Bibles that are like directly translated from Hebrew by some Jewish people, and it's a little different. Not gonna lie. Yeah, and hence toxic masculinity. You hit on this, and this is hence why I look. I will entertain the idea because of the Anunnaki theory. I don't want to go to the degree that I say, I think that it's true or anything, but it is plausible, and there's probably I could see why people think there's validity to it. Mr. CCDB said, as St. Paul said, all things are allowed to me, not all things are edifying. RR said, the problem with most of Christianity, as with the ancient philosophy, is the lack of access we have to original texts and original language. So much is lost in translation. And you are 100% spot on with that observation, RR. Well, absolutely.
And just think about it. a lot of languages are still dying out too. Like, do you know anybody who reads or speaks Sanskrit? It's really hard to come by.
Well, you know,
Tamil is a dying language, and that's one of the oldest languages in the world.
They blew up the guide stones, and that had a area written in Sanskrit on it. So
supposedly written in Sanskrit. Supposedly.
Yeah.
It also supposedly had a time capsule underneath it, which it did not.
The problem with every religion is that they're corrupted versions of original messages. The elites had thousands of years to alter and change them, and they did.
They did because it's open to interpretation for all these people.
Right, because we know the amount, we know the way the game's played, you know, and if we're talking going United Resistance mode for a second, if we know the global elite as well as we do, that, you know, and as long as they've had this plan, well, you know that they love their control mechanisms. And what's a good one? Religion. Just saying. So I don't necessarily disagree with Wake Down, even though, you know, the Catholic in me wants to you know, kind of boot him in the ass a little bit for the comment, but I understand. If you want to know the complete truth, as dangerous as it can be, you need to read the work of guys like Crowley and Robert Greene. Yeah, I mean, you know, and I have read some Crowley, so I do understand both sides. Wake Down says, I think they destroyed the guide stones on purpose to mark the beginning of them carrying it out. You know, and you know, you might not be wrong about that. And I'm going to bring up that theory. Wake, you're fast forwarding me to Tuesday. Leave me show material for Tuesday, buddy. That is my show material.
That'll be a fun discussion.
We're talking about the guide stones Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
Toxic Masculinity said, actually, I met someone that taught my 8 boys Boy Scout group up to use Sanskrit words.
Well, see, that's the crazy part, okay? It's not a hard language to learn how to read and write in, which means it shouldn't be a hard language to learn how to speak in, but not a lot of people are actually speaking it anymore. So that person that taught them that is probably one of the very few people in your entire area that can even understand it. Because, I mean, it's an old language, and it's actually fairly simple. Homeboy over here getting down on some Cheez-Its, and I'm getting jealous.
I want to talk some Klingon, but I'm sure the Vatican has extra copies of the guide stones. Just ring up the Pope. Ooh, right. I like it. We need to use the word we allegedly more often, or as you said, supposedly.
Yes.
So where was Drew when the guide stones decided to self-delete? I knocked him down with the winger.
Yeah, I was gonna say secretly Drew just like kind of turned a little bit, and it was like.
They didn't need to. They didn't need to actually. You know, the official video shows that there was after the initial explosion that they went and
so you just
demolished the rest.
Yeah,
with the earth mover, but honestly, what it was really truly what happened was it was just my donger. Wake Down says hashtag beware the Drew. Wake Down says we're actually in the tear it down stage here. Complete inversion of normality, complete immorality. After the coming chaos, the NWO and the one world religion would be the answer to these problems. Yeah, and I firmly believe that too. Yep. I firmly believe we're on that track. But see, right now, Rob, what we have is there at cross purposes because there is a worldwide pushback happening right now, and you can't deny that, from Sri Lanka to Italy to oh my goodness, it's happening in the Netherlands. It's happening worldwide. So, we'll see. This is going to be very interesting the next 6 months to see how it plays out. Stephen Ransom said, for example, wake down in the alleged vaults beneath the bag. Nice. Mr. CCGB says it'd be interesting if the revelation is beginning in our time. It really is. RR said, wait until they bring out the alien PSYOP, Project Bluebeam. Toxic Masculinity said, let's hope not. The Guidestone's talk of reducing the current 7.8 billion humans down to 500 billion, murdering 7.3, or 500 million rather, murdering 7.3 billion people, and Hitler was a bad guy for killing 0.0066 billion. Yeah. Let's see. The problem is that what is happening isn't enough. People are holding concerts and starving themselves in protest. People are no longer willing to or able to do what is truly necessary at this point. I don't disagree with you on that either, because I know what has to happen. We all know what has to happen. We just never say it out loud.
They had to break our will in order to get us to this point.
And
while it's not broken completely, they're still working on it.
Yeah, I think we're not stupid. None of us in this chat right now or on this panel are stupid. And Wake, what has to happen. I know what has to happen in order to make true change. These assholes need to be strung up, and we need to take over everything, basically.
Allegedly, supposedly.
Yeah. That's what has to happen if we're really going to take back our society and our nations. But nobody's going to have the balls to say that.
I think you just did.
I did. Yeah, I really did. And bring in Missy. Hey, Missy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Hello. So,
sorry, it took me so long to get here. I went to go lock my door, and the lock fell out the door. That was super cool.
So what's
That's never a good sign.
Yeah. So what's your take on this? Because we know each other. I know where your faith lies. I know I know where things are for you. So you tell me.
Okay. Well, first of all, hi, I'm Missy. It's nice to meet you, darling. He didn't properly introduce you.
Yeah.
I'm Corey.
Yeah, this
is
Corey.
Talks a lot.
That's Corey, aka Sir Talks a Lot. Sir Talks a Lot. Meet Frantic Missy.
Welcome to the OG Talks a Lot.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. Yes. So Godzillionaire says, finally some representation. Nice.
Okay, so my background is that I was a paranormal researcher for 3.5 years. I went to over 1,000 cases personally myself, a couple after I was with the group of people because they weren't being as scientific as I wanted them to be. So I just kind of stepped away from that. And then, I've had people that have called me from family and friends that have me come out of there. And that's happened a lot too over the last maybe 20 years. So I haven't been in the field in a really long time, but here's what I can tell you is that there's a lot of problems in regards to people that don't understand their equipment, don't have their equipment calibrated properly, people that really become ghost hunters because they want to look for that that bias, that thing that's going to prove that the thing that they believe is what they want it to be. So they enter the field in a non-scientific aspect with non-scientific instrumentation, and then they call an orb a ghost, right? And then they go to cemeteries. Oh, they're the worst. I'm like, dude, that's dust. That's dust. And I can tell you, out of all those 1,000 cases that I went to personally, and all the cases that the people that were offshoots of the same group that I worked with in Central Florida, because we had little paranormal groups all over Florida. I can tell you that no one caught anything that wasn't audio. Nothing that I thought was relevant. It's one of the reasons that I left the group. The whole premise of Ghostbusters is that Peter Venkman lost his funding. So there isn't any scientific research really going into this field. People make up their mind what they think is there, and then they find the evidence they want to back up the thing that they think should be there.
Yes.
And but I mean, these people aren't
everywhere.
Yes, confirmation bias. Legitimately, they sprinkle they like sprinkle evidence at times to try and like make you think that there's things that have been caught that aren't caught. You said earlier, Corey, that you don't trust anything that comes out of Japan.
Yeah.
Totally admire that premise because that's exactly right. There's too much doctoring of video. When I was in the field, I was 18, 19, 20 years old. There was no way to doctor video back then. Not like there is now, at least, you know? So anything that anybody caught, you know, most ghost hunters don't go off of evidence from the field. I mean, 9 times out of 10, if it turns cold suddenly, it's because there's a freaking draft or the wind blows, which anybody who's lived up north, which Drew, you're aware of, and even in the summer, in like New Hampshire, the wind blows cold.
Well, you know, I was telling my ghost story because
I know I heard it. I was listening the whole time
because you know, and I have to like actually take the possibility into account that, you know, maybe this female ghost made contact with me because I'm
maybe you got molested and she wiped it from your memory.
Maybe it's just because I'm a hot Asian dude.
Could be. I put in the chat earlier. You were like with your girlfriends. Maybe she got jelly. You were dripping in it.
Nice. Corey, I know that you said you know the wife is beckoning you. So
just give me 5 minutes, so at least I can like agree with you on a bunch of different things. Number one, you talked about time interference. Same team. I do not believe that ghosts are dead people. I believe they're alive people because the way that time works, which is it's rapidly changing. There's tons of peer-reviewed papers out there. Time is not a forward-moving linear concept. All time exists at the same time. Therefore, like Jesus can be on the cross and off the cross at the same time, creating a paradox would make a lot more sense out of the Jesus story. And at the same time, when you're seeing a ghost, you're not seeing a dead person. You're seeing someone who's alive, just like me and you. You're just seeing them through the time difference. I think that people that see ghosts usually have some sort of trauma going on. And the thing that all ghost stories have in common is they're all trauma-based. It's trauma-based from whatever's going on in that person's life or something that's about to happen to them. That's why you're able to see, you know, things that don't have a head. That's why you're able to like when people they see ghosts, they do two or three things. They either empathize and the ghost is scared of them, or they empathize and the ghost is angry at them, or they're angry and the ghost empathizes with them. That it's always empathy involved. There's some sort of spiritual connection there. The other thing that all ghosts have in common is they don't change their clothes. You're never going to see a ghost with a MAGA hat. Not going to happen. And the third thing we can guarantee about ghosts is they're really hard to catch on camera.
Yeah, Stephen Ransom's like, hail to that, Frantic Missy. Mm-hmm. You know, but yeah, Corey, I know you said the wife's beckoning you. You got to take off. Missy and I are going to keep going, but
yeah, sorry, the lock fell out of my door. I was trying desperately to get in here. I had to put the lock back in my door though, because I live alone.
I totally understand. I totally feel that. No, I wish she was beckoning me, but no, I stream in our bedroom and she's tired, so I'm gonna bounce so she can go to bed, and I'm gonna go feed my insomnia with some river monsters.
No, bro.
Much better than river dancing.
What you're gonna do is like tackle some munchies. So
I'm gonna do that too. My nightly bowl of cereal's rolling up, bro. I tell you what.
Your nightly bowl after your nightly bowl.
Oh no.
One more thing for you go.
Repeat of the other one too.
Corey, one more thing I want to tell you for you go. Mm-hmm. The first documented ghost story ever is Socrates.
Socrates?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Interesting indeed.
All right, tell them where they can find you, Corey.
Oh yeah, you can find me over on YouTube. Oh wait, you're here. So just go ahead and search Sir Talks a Lot YT, and you'll find my lovely little channel. I think at our 500 celebration tonight, we made it up to 525 or 524, something like that. Why don't you go find out and push subscribe? It's a good time. I usually do non-political stuff. I talk about things we enjoy on Talking with Talks a Lot. I get into deeper discussions like this, on Dark Philosophy Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And we have a good time talking about all kinds of stuff. It's a different kind of format than what most people are used to, and it's actually really fun. I also do some voiceover stuff here and there, some Dick's Division commercials and this and that. And then, of course, you can find me tomorrow night on Yelling at Parked Cars on Comics Division's channel.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. And Twitter, The Good Voice Guy. If you ever want to be a guest on my show, they're open. The DMs are open. So hit me up.
What's your Twitter one more time?
The Good Voice Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks again, Corey. I'm glad I'm glad we started the show together, dude.
Me
I love
too,
doing
bro.
the show. So, all right. I will see you next Sunday, mister.
Hell yeah. I'm still not used to getting punched out of a stream. So.
Yeah, well, that's because I don't do that to you. Instead, I will just give you a good Biden.
I don't want to hear any more of these lies about reckless spending. We're changing people's lives.
And there he goes. So, yeah, the thing is
Gone too soon.
The thing is, man, Stephen Ransom is really in on what you're talking about, Missy. Check this out.
Yeah.
You can address this comment right here. He says the fourth dimension contains all of our grounded dimensions. All of their realities are included in the fourth. And he said, "At Frantic Missy."
Because the fourth dimension is time. One of the things that Back to the Future, crazy title by the way, because they should have called it Back to the Past. It would resonate more because he didn't spend a lot of time going back to the future. He spent a lot of time hanging out in the past and maybe getting hit on by his mom. It was kind of creepy. But one of the things I got right was when he went back in time, he went back to the same space he was in at the time in the original Back to the Future movie. That's correct because the fifth dimension is space, like relative location. So, of course, when you experience a ghost, they're going to be on the property that they had their trauma. Whether it's a girl walking on the side of the road that, has a hitchhiker story, hitchhiker ghost, whether it's someone at Gettysburg in the battlefield, or whether it's someone who walks into their dorm room in an old building and that room turns into a hospital room. See, it's not just the ghosts that are displaced here. It also goes both ways. Maybe what you experienced was that you got time shifted. Time travel is real. It's just not what you think it is. Just like time itself isn't what we think it is.
Yeah, but the thing that freaks me out is so hold on. And by the way, hi Tina Bojan, and my prayers go out to your father, honey. And you are in our prayers for sure. Love you. And thinking about you. TZ Burton says culture is finishing up. Nice. TZ Burton, good to see you, buddy. The thing is see, the weird thing, Missy, is again why was I rooted and unable to move, and then why the temperature change, why like I said, the going from a perfect mid 70s summer night to walking into just a 30-degree downshift and being enveloped in this bubble essentially.
We talked about this before. I don't know if you remember or not.
I remember, but
yes. And I told you then, just like I'm going to tell you now, that I don't think that you necessarily were grounded or rooted like that. Then again, you got to remember, time, perception of time, for a 5-year-old to put them in timeout, you have to do it 1 minute for each year of their age. Why? Because 5 minutes to them is an eternity. But 5 minutes to you, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Right? Because Time is one of those things you cannot measure, except with clocks, except with timers.
Mhm.
So maybe you felt like it was a long period of time, but it could have been like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But the thing that tips me off that makes that story sus, it's not your telling of it, and it's not that I doubt that you experienced what you experienced. The reason I don't think it's necessarily a ghost, I think it's demonic, is because, number one, you were hanging out in an area that is known for activity, which usually draws like not the best people out to come hang out in that area, right?
Mhm.
Every time you go to like a tunnel, you know, or somewhere that like underneath a bridge, right? You always see the
Yeah.
graffiti. And we had these tunnels we went to when I was a kid on Sullivan's Island, and it was like these old like war tunnels, and there were people that were literally thought they were Satanists, and they would come like built an altar and sacrifice birds.
I have there's
And we stumbled upon that.
there's a question from the chat for you, by the way, as soon as you're finished with your point.
But the point is that like I don't think it was a ghost because ghosts don't have any like follow the money. There's no reason for them to exist in our reality. It's a fluke. It's a throw up. It's a oops. You were emotional. I was emotional, and like that little barrier between the third and fourth dimension like shifted, and now we're hanging out together for a second, 10 seconds, 2 minutes, right? And they're always in period clothing, head to toe, and they're a full body apparition, like they're a person standing next to you. Like that's the crazy thing. Anybody who's seen a ghost, it's like it was a person. And they were mad at me because I was doing work on the house. Because people that are doing work on the house are usually emotional. The person was emotional about their house too. They're like, they walked into the living room and it wasn't there. Of course you'd be angry and upset, right? But in your situation, you said that you experienced someone else's emotions and memory.
Someone else's memory.
That sucks. Because ghosts don't do that. Out of thousands of cases, I've looked at least, I don't have an exact number, but it had to have been at least 3,000 case records, like from people that were in the field that were doing documented evidence, like going in, like keeping notes. And like there was a person that was in charge of the equipment, and there's a person that was in charge of keeping notes about everything. From the move of the house to like, you know, what they think happened. Like there was someone that took notes the whole time, right? And I read all their notes, and I went to 1,000 cases. Easily, probably more than that, actually. I would say probably more than that. At least 1,000 cases over 3.5 years. And I never once had a case where I thought it was an actual ghost that they were able to disseminate memories and get inside someone's mind. That was always demonic, That is
Right.
demonic because ghosts are people just like me and you. They don't have that power.
I want Rita had this question for you. I'm going to go ahead and let you address Rita's question.
Do I think past energy can attach itself to certain objects? No, but I believe that if people want something to attach itself to certain objects, they'll get what they asked for. They'll open up doors that they don't want to open. Look, your home is your sacred place. Just like you've got locks on your doors, the home is where the heart is. Your home is your sacred place. That is the rules of the universe apply in your home as well. And if you take ownership of your home and the authority and the umbrella of God is appropriate within your home, you shouldn't have any problems. It always drives me crazy when I see mediums that are like, oh yeah, you know, he's sitting right next to me. And like, I'm like, you're at work at home and you're inviting these things in your house. Like when you bring something in your house, if you want it to have something dark attached to it, don't worry. That dark thing will find you. You don't bring things like that in your house. You don't even invite that in. I don't even watch horror movies in my house. I'm not even doing this podcast from within my house. I'm in my garage. I wouldn't even bring this in the house.
Right.
I know ghosts can attach themselves to you. They're not ghosts. First of all, you need to stop using that word. That is not a ghost. That is demonic. It's something completely different. Hang on. I want to read the rest of the question. Imagine if you were a ghost and 1,000 people can see you until one person who can. What are you going to do? You'll follow. Okay, look. You know what the difference between an angel and a demon is? An angel comes, helps, and leaves. A ghost comes, you see him for a second, and then leave. Anything that's like hanging around in your attic, like, oh, her name is Alice. That's just Alice upstairs playing jacks. If somebody's in your kitchen moving crap around in the middle of the night, I don't care if it's a child, you're going to call the cops. If it was a person. If it was a person, what would you do? You kick it out. I don't understand why people think it's so glamorous to have this thing in their house, because if it was an actual live, like, let me touch you person that's hanging around in their house, they'd be pissed. They'd kick him out. If it's a child, you'd call the cops. Most definitely call the cops because something's wrong. I don't understand why people think that's normal, acceptable, or okay. Your house is your home. You have to own your space. It's your space. The only way they can come in is if you let them.
Missy, a couple of the guys said you've got static in your mic channel.
That's probably my stupid air conditioning unit because it's hot as bull honky outside.
No, there's actual static in it, so it's somewhere in one of the connections.
Does that help?
Nah,
is that better?
Still, yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I had YouTube still running on my. I had to turn it off. I just had to swipe it out. That happens sometimes because it's trying to run this here and then run that there. I don't know. Run and tell that. Sorry about the static, y'all.
Yeah, it's back, but it is what it is. It's coming through the channel at some point, So I don't know if it's like a wire or if it's wireless. Because you're on wireless, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay.
On my AirPods and I'll switch.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes it's just a matter of, I have no idea where I put my AirPods. Never mind.
But
disregard that.
but I'm yeah. And sorry about the static, guys, but I mean it's not terrible. So, RR says it's a ghost. Nice, RR. Oh, toxic masculinity says that's why you never go directly home. You clear yourself by stopping in the church first. At Frantic Missy, we have a very Christian home, but there has been a lot of strange things that have happened that seems to have lessened since we took an old organ out and put it into the burn pile. RR says the static isn't that bad. Yeah, it's doable. Wait Down said, what's the difference between an angel and a demon? An angel comes. Nice.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Because when you went outside and you burned your organ, you didn't just burn the object. You in your mind now decided your home was safe. You set up barriers mentally, whether you realized it or not. It's not. I don't think that things can attach themselves to objects. I think that they can attach themselves to horror movies from the images you can see through your eyes and hear with your ears. It's like opening the front door and saying, hey, anybody can come in. It's not locked. My lock fell out my door. I know exactly how that feels. A lot of people don't realize that they're walking around, leaving their house, having their children at home with the lock missing. And they don't even realize it. And it's not about how Christian you are. If anything, being Christian is going to get you more attacked. You have to be extra careful. The horror movies, The Nightmare Before Christmas, celebrating Halloween. I know these little things that everyone has been indoctrinated into thinking is normal and okay. I mean, how could I not let my children trick or treat? That's child abuse, right? No, you shouldn't let your kids participate in things like that. You shouldn't participate in things like that because you know that it doesn't feel all the way good. On some level, it's not right.
I can buy candy, or I can, get candy. So I'm not worried about that. Yeah.
Look, you can buy your kid a bag of candy.
Yeah, true.
It's not about the candy. It's not about the candy. It is because you've been indoctrinated into believing that it's okay, normal, and acceptable. But it really isn't. It's really not. And on some level, we all know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hail the lovely Sherry. Great to see you. And Dwayne Erickson says, what about a rocking chair rocking on its own at any given time of the day or night?
Well, do you have a draft? Check to make sure you don't have a draft first. If the first thing you want to jump to is ghost, then you got bigger problems than the rocking chair.
Solus Acid says, candy goes half price the day after Halloween. Facts.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like, dude.
Dave says, hail all.
On Halloween. Witches, goblins, fear-based, horror for children, haunted houses, right? Skeleton costumes. Like, do you guys really think, like, in your heart of hearts, do you believe that's Christian? In your heart of hearts, witches and goblins and putting scary faces and then being held at ransom by children? Why do people think that's okay? I've never been trick-or-treating in my life, and my father's never been more correct when he said that that's not, it's wrong, it's evil, it's demonic.
Yeah, never underestimate the power of the scene. The ancient Hellenes understood the power of the visual, how what we can see can affect and transform us in the wrong or right way.
Television.
Toxic Masculinity says, another weird story is my son at 3 years old said he saw my friend Frank at our front door through the glass in the middle of the night saying to him, shock me. Frank died.
Well, you know what? Children have more DMT in their brains. We produce DMT naturally through sleep and, nightmares and dreams. That is your brain activating the pineal gland and producing DMT. So you still produce DMT as an adult, but as a child, you produce it in massive quantities. One of the reasons that come after kids. It's one of the reasons that these dark people, these dark beings, go after children to do their dark things with.
Right.
It's because they literally are closer to God. They can see things that we can't see. They know things we do not know. Children are wiser than we realize. The thing is we live in a culture now that doesn't respect or understand the level of intelligence that children have because we've infantized them, right? I mean, kids that are 8 years old in China are building iPhones right now.
Right.
They're smarter than you think. People just talk down to them, and so of course they're not gonna, be as. Honestly, I think that some of the worst things you can ever do to a child is not like take them seriously when they tell you they see something crazy. So if your child saw something like that, I don't think that your child's necessarily off or weird or strange. I think that he might know more than you realize because he's closer to God.
No, there is no draft. We don't watch horror movies. We don't watch TV at all. We also don't celebrate Halloween. Our kids are growing but won't come and stay here because of things they have seen.
Well, then, in that case, I think that you need to do what any self-respecting citizen would do and kick the homeless people out.
Yeah, just have your house blessed by a priest.
No, that's not going to work. The best thing in the world to do is I always recommend sprinkling kosher salt at your windows and your doors. And it's not because the kosher salt has some special magical power. It's because you believe it has power and therefore it works. And the second thing I recommend is the key ceremony, which is like where you walk around your house. You take your house key in your hand. If you're married, your wife does too. And you walk around your house and go, I live here. Anybody that doesn't have a key to this house can't be here. There are rules to the universe. Like what? Well, again, years of research. Years. I'm 40. I'm 40. I've been at this stuff since I was 8. When I first saw it, and I wanted to explain it to myself. And I dug up everything I find ever since. I mean, I'm obsessed.
Solus Acid says, I just thought Halloween was fun and games. Give candy to kids in costumes to go hit on the hot vampire chick at the party.
Yeah, because things that steal life force, that's hot.
Yeah. I always like goth chicks better than vampire chicks.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you feel like I take a hard line or I'm like harsh. It's because like there's so much information that people just don't know. And that's where like evil breeds. It breeds in misinformation or lack of information.
RR says television is a powerful instrument of control. That's why the CIA uses it to spread their mind control propaganda.
That's why it's called program.
Wake Down is he is a non-believer, so he's just
That's okay. You don't have to believe what we believe. God has a plan for everybody. You'll end up exactly where you're supposed to, exactly when you need to end up there. Hang on, I'm trying to fix my AirPods situation.
okay. It's all good. So I'll let you address this comment.
Something. We good?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I'm beginning messed with. Yeah, Christianity was just, you're not wrong, because there's a lot of messed up things that the Catholic Church did, and then also the Protestant Church, and the burning of people. I mean, the guy that wrote the King James Bible is also the guy that wrote the book Demonology, and it was used to burn people at the stake, or worse, have them drowned because they were innocent. In America, they hung them, but a lot of them just died in jail because it was really bad conditions, and they got sick. But yeah, I mean, Christianity isn't all it's cracked up to be, and that's not necessarily for everybody. But at the same time, like, just like we know, there's something off, and you should try and learn more about the good sides of things, and maybe you might change your mind. God has a plan for everyone. You'll come to him when it's your time.
I really think that Frank would have tried to come for me for help, even though it was too late. And I don't think at 3, my son knew about AEDs and heart attacks. He was talking about that story he was referencing earlier about his friend Frank.
Again, if all time is happening at the same time, right? Maybe they just saw something that you couldn't necessarily see that was happening at the same time. That means the future is happening at the same time too.
RR says all institutions are corrupted. Yeah, well, that's true.
Yes, that's correct. My father's a Southern Baptist minister, and he told me that the one person you can count on coming to church every single Sunday was the devil himself.
Steven Ransom says I'm 55 with years of research as well, but I remain open to the truth of what is happening here.
Well, then that's great. Good. We can agree to disagree. Good for you. Good for you for teaching yourself. That's awesome.
Wake Down says, I'm agnostic, not atheist. I believe in a higher power and universal spirituality, but I don't follow organized religions that were co-opted thousands of years ago to control man. And, I can respect that view because they have been largely, there is a globalist takeover problem, especially in the Catholic Church. And it's not just globalist takeover, folks. It is like satanic cabal takeover. These are Luciferians that have infiltrated the Catholic Church. But I'm not going to get on that because that's a whole nother subject. And, I'm going to stick with what the show's about. But, that is happening. So that's by no means like just me like spitballing, throwing a crazy conspiracy theory out there. That is proven and confirmed.
People in their heart know what's right and what's wrong. They just sometimes shut themselves off to it because it's easier to not think about it, or it's easier to just do what you've always done. And also, we are creatures of habit, and literally our brains form around certain habitual things. There are people that are going to be Catholic. Even if they're not a practicing Catholic, they're going to be Catholic to the day they die because they're comfortable with that because their brain literally formed around that being a staple part of their being, of their mentality. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it takes all kinds. The world would be really boring if we were all the same, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. The King James Version is the best-selling book on the planet. It is also the least accurate. King James had his scribes remove passages that challenged power and added bits to reinforce divine right.
Well, wait, John, I don't believe that Revelation even belongs in the Bible. So there's that fun little thing. My father and I go round and around. He thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. We go around and around and around. But my father is also a huge supporter of 17 and introduced me to 17. So, I mean, we can't all be right all the time, right?
Rita says there was a thing that looks like a shadow in the shape of a man that always hung around by the organ, but we haven't seen it since we got rid of the organ. We also burned the rocking chair.
If that makes you feel better, then by all means do that. Because it's music, when you say like, okay, so I wasn't like, I was messing around with my headphones and stuff. Now that I think about it a little bit better, you're right. There might be something to do with something connected to that object, but only only because it's an instrument, and also with dolls. So I was wrong earlier. Correction. There are weird things because these dark things, they want a face, they want a body. They can't have a body. That's why they hate us, because we have a body and we have free will and we have the ability to speak things into being and we have the ability to create. And God loves us, and they are no longer loved by God, and they don't have a body and they don't have a face and they can't create, and they have to like just exist and like suck what energy they can off of us that's residual that we allow them to have. They're like literally like the beggars outside the gate. And instrumentation, due to the fact that there's music involved, and music is used in all rituals. We use it in church right now. It's ritualistic in church right now. So that could have maybe had a factor in it. There's two different kinds of shadow people that I can personally say that I've experienced and dealt with. There's three technically, but I mean, there's two that I could like name that have like more of a predominant nature of appearing. And that is the shadow person, which is a typical like shadow person. They usually are low to the ground. And then there's also something that people call the hat man. And the hat man is usually just, again, because there's not a lot of evidence that's like visual. Oh, there's audio, but there's not a lot of visual evidence. So what we have is a lot of accounts, a lot of anecdotes. So if you have enough people with enough anecdotal evidence, you can start to form, things that they have in common. And the hat man tends to go after women that are single, that are attractive, or women that are single and have a baby. Basically, women that are good looking that need help. And across the board, what they said is, I didn't think it was a problem because I felt like he was helping me. Because that's how they worm their way in. People that are married with children, they find a lot of child entities that pretend to be a child.
Sure.
Because that it goes after what goes to their core. Like, what's the thing that you feel vulnerable about? People that are married with kids, if there's a child, but we don't want to, like, what? Well, of course they can stay here. There's enough room for everybody. That's the kind of mentality. And that's what they go after. Women that are single, they need protection. So that's what they go after. I'm
gonna
feel better about burning the stuff in, then burn it. By all means, it makes you feel better.
I'm gonna let you steer the ship for a second, Missy, because I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Oh, I don't do well by myself. I learned the rainbow. Okay, T.Z. Burton. I learned the rainbow is in the Bible, Genesis 9:13. Yeah, and it got co-opted, didn't it? They took all the letters and now they're taking all the colors. I believe there's a higher power. Even saw clouds in the shape of stairs while on the way to the hospital after my grandmother passed. Soul assassin, there's definitely a higher power. Now, when we say the word higher power, what that means to you in the order of hierarchy, that is personal. The rock and walk hard and fast. Rita, then I'm glad that you got rid of it then. If you felt like there was something weird, then by all means, get rid of it. If you feel like something's weird, then get rid of it. By all means. It's just a rocking chair, Your peace of mind is worth way more. The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. Okay, Stephen Ransom. Interesting fact about C.S. Lewis. Okay, November 22nd, 1963, 3 people died. We know the first one, that's JFK. But what a lot of people don't know is that that's the same day that Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis died. Now, C.S. Lewis was in a relationship with a woman who was like 30 years older than him, that was married to another man, and then I'm not really sure about the details of it. It's weird because I get different accounts. But here's what we do know to be a fact. The character Lucy was based on a little girl that got on the train that they shipped out of London during the Blitz. Lucy is based on that little girl. That little girl grew up. C.S. Lewis, by the way, paid for everything for her. It was like a little bit creepy, very suspect. That girl went on to marry a guy named Clement Freud, who is Sigmund Freud's grandson. He's also a prolific pedophile. He was an MP, but he was also a pedophile. And he got convicted, and he died before he ever served any time. But he also happened to be 2 streets away from where Madeline McCann disappeared. So C.S. Lewis, I don't think was on the up and up. I think that he may have done some great work, and that's great. But I think that when in his younger years, he did some suspicious things, and maybe that's why he became so Christian, oriented. The other person that died was Aldous Huxley, as in Brave New World. So just be careful with that. That's from Revelation. Yeah, C.S. Lewis is, again, he's sus. Just do. Okay, if you can't find out the information you want about someone, always look at their family.
I love it. Wake Down called it a prisoner's fever dream. That's great.
I never thought he was. I didn't think he was great. They made us read that in high school, and it bored the hell out of me. The Screwtape Letters. Yes, wait, John, you're correct. Like down, excuse me. You're right. They just retell the same. It's actually Joseph Campbell wrote a book about it called Mythos. It's all the same stuff. The hero's journey. It's all the same stuff. Yes, this thing appeared to wear a hat. He was also tall. I am a widow. Dwayne and I. Yes. Yes, they go for the thing that makes you vulnerable. The Hat Man thing is so common. You know, it amazes me when people try to say that ghosts aren't real, or that, you know, they don't believe in demons, or they don't realize that, like, when I tell people, like, be careful about this, because and they'll get me like, you don't, like, whatever. Like, I'm like, everyone has a ghost story, though.
Absolutely.
Everyone has a ghost story. Everyone has seen something out of the corner of their eye that was dark that moved. And they might lie to themselves and say it's nothing, but it was something. And they're coming for us.
You know,
we're their food. We're their food.
You know, TZ
making us
Burton,
miserable is their food.
Yeah. You know, TZ Burton, I will tell you something about Missy, because, you know, I guarantee you she is like awesome, because I've done Twitter spaces with Missy before. And she's co-hosted and she's absolutely killed it. But, you know, it goes without saying, because she's a really kick-ass woman, you guys. You know, and you know, not a day goes by that I'm not happy that I know her.
He's buttering me up because he's gonna murder me later. Maybe your kid will see something about that, dude.
No, it's not. You know, this isn't Hansel and Gretel. I'm not gonna put you in the oven.
That's an interesting fact I hadn't heard about C.S. Lewis. Yeah, they all died on the same day, November 22nd, 1963. Aldous Huxley, C.S. Lewis, and JFK all died the same day. Their deaths got overshadowed by the assassination of JFK.
It's an ad lib of an old maxim, but Wake Down says you don't have to believe in evil for it to believe in you.
No. That's the greatest trick the devil ever played, was convincing you that he didn't exist. And it's not he, because these are all equally evil. Like the concept of there just being one dark evil thing that's in charge. Like, dude, have you seen these things? Like, they're not completely bright. Like, we're not dealing with like intelligent. I mean, they're somewhat intelligent, but they're not like as smart as we are. That's why they hate us. So for you to think that there's one guy, like there's one man running the asylum, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's one of the things about the Bible that always pissed me off. Like, because when there can't just be like one, like Lucifer, which is the morning star, and then there's Saturnism, and there's a lot to that when you look at the history of the concept of the devil.
Dwayne Erickson says Rita's late father-in-law found the rocking chair in a ditch and put it all back together. It went from Iowa to Oregon and back to Iowa. Very interesting.
He needs to get a hobby, darling. I don't know what's going on with your father-in-law, but tell him he needs to get a hobby. That's not putting back together crazy rocking chairs. Really?
Monkey Jiva says, I had a dream about the black thing with the hat and smoky fingers. He tried sticking his fingers in and I cut them off.
The thing that's berserker, because that's a very common, like, anecdotal story. That where they try to go for the moment that the women realize, the single women realize, or the child that with the single mother realize that thing is evil, is when they try to like reach in your chest and reach for your neck, and like why you wake up to them, like, and you're like, oh, never mind, he's not protecting me, he's trying to like steal my energy.
Yeah,
that's very common.
TZ Burton says you are a sweetheart. Yeah, she absolutely is.
Thank you.
RR says Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconsciousness is based on the universal elements found in all cultures, stories, and myths. That 70s rock fan says at Supreme Heretic, hail brother, hail chat, hail to you, my friend. Good to see you, 70s.
I know you're talking about C.S. Lewis. November 22nd, 1963, C.S. Lewis, Aldous Huxley, and JFK died. You're thinking of Lewis Carroll. That's the person who wrote Alice.
Yeah. Toxic Masculinity says, then her ghost will show up on the stream and say, okay, I might have gotten a few things wrong. Just kidding. Nice. Wakedown says, Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Mammon, etc., they're all different entities.
Okay, so what people need to understand about these entities is, look, just because, like, we know that these things are not real, doesn't mean that other people do not know they're not real. I mean, have you seen the cremation of care ceremony that Alex Jones filmed in Bohemian Grove, where they're sacrificing the effigy of a child that they cast their guilt and cares upon? Hopefully an effigy of a child, we don't know yet, to Moloch, the owl god that was freaking Assyrian. I think it was Assyrian.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that. I think it's Assyrian. And then you have Baal, which was the god of not just Sumeria, but also the Phoenician gods. You know what they call it? The Valley of the Shadow of Death? They call it that. Like when people say, hey, I walk through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, and they say it at funerals, it's completely taken in the wrong context. The Valley of the Shadow of Death was where the Phoenicians would sacrifice babies to Baal. That same god, the Phoenician god Baal, went on to go be at Carthage, where they had the Tophet. There was Baal, which is the male god, and then the female god was named Tanit. Also, it was a triangle with like a cross. It was interesting. But like the whole purpose of like Moses and everyone after walking around the desert for 40 years was to remove a generation, because they were so indoctrinated with the way that they believed that they had to sacrifice babies and build like bull gods, that God had to literally walk around in the desert making them eat crap off the ground. So they were like bred out of that generation, because you can't fix religious indoctrination from childhood. It's one of the biggest problems we have with the left right now. That is a religious indoctrination we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And they go after the youth for a reason. That's the second pin I've dropped.
Yeah. Rita says, I found a Ouija board in this house and took it out with a pair of tongs and burned it all. Yeah, I'm glad you did that, Rita, because I will not allow Ouija boards in my home. No.
The power is not in the object itself. It's in the belief of the object and the use of the object.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we covered that a second ago. I know who you meant, darling. Same team.
Yeah. That was their late father-in-law that did that.
I'm sorry for your loss. No matter how long ago it was, it still sucks.
Yeah. Wakedown just addressing the C.S. Lewis did create Alice in Wonderland, but C.S. Lewis with a pen name, don't remember his real name.
C.S. Lewis?
Not Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll was also a pedophile. So was I almost called him P.T. Barnum, the guy that wrote Peter Pan.
Monkey Jeeba said, yeah, something tried to push me through my bed.
Well, one of the reasons that I went down this path when I started researching like a crazy person, all this stuff when I was like 8 years old, is because I had a big problem with sleep paralysis. I still have it pop up from time to time if I'm really stressed out, which tells me that like I'm not right with God, and that I'm not like guarding my house the way that I should be, or there might be something I need to like address like religiously or personally that I'm not handling. I used to think of it as like being a horrifying curse. I would literally smell like burnt hair and like shit, and like I would literally feel like swirling things trying to suck my soul out of my body at like 8 years old, and trying to explain it to your pastor father didn't go over well. He's just like, well, I think you're just having a bad dream. I'm like, you're not understanding. Like I can't move, and this thing is like sucking my energy. You don't understand. And they couldn't explain it to me. No one could explain it to me. And so I went on a mission to like figure out what that was. So I mean, that's sleep paralysis is really awful, man. Like that. So if you feel like something, especially to your bed, just remember that like, you are in control of your own body, even when you're asleep. And just remember to remind yourself of that and say it over and over again.
Yeah, I had a Catholic seminarian tell me never mess with those things.
They're right.
Speaking of Ouija boards, yeah.
One of the few times I experienced an actual demon. Yeah, it is a death cult. One of the few times I actually experienced an actual not demon, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Like violent actually attacking a baby, a 3-year-old kid. Every time his mother would go put him in the bathtub, this thing would scratch him up, and she couldn't figure out what's going on. And she like installed cameras, couldn't see anything but him screaming in the tub. This was like in 2002. So she paid a lot of money. It's in Lake County, Florida.
Lake City, Florida, in Lake County, Florida. And we went to the house, and I noticed that the daughter, who's like 13, was like behaving kind of squirrely. And she looked exactly how you would expect a 13-year-old that would be using a Ouija board to look. All the black clothes, right? She had the black hair, and like, she had like, pentagrams in her room on her notebook and like all that stuff. And I went to her and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. Can you spot me? Because like if my boss finds out." Total lie. I was 18. Total lie. Now I was like 20 at the time, but I looked like I was really young. So she goes like, she was like, "I'm watching for you," and I'm like, "Hey, by the way, you ever like mess with a Ouija board in your house?" She goes, "How did you know?" And I was like, "I'm not stupid." I was like, "And by the way, my boss doesn't care if I smoke. I'm 20 years old. It's gonna be fine." I was like, "But here's the deal. What'd you do? Just tell me what you did. It's you and me out here. We're in the back of the house." I remember exactly, like, because they had this sill, and the bathroom was there, right? So I've got like people with their cameras and like in the house, like being obnoxious with their equipment. And I'm sitting there where we can see the windowsill, and it's like one of those brick houses that was like just a little bit, like had just a little bit of a crawl space, and it was like a 1-story like house, and the bedrooms were on this side of the house, and the bathroom was in like the back corner of the house. So I'm sitting there outside of the window where they're like trying to mess around, smoking a cigarette, talking to a 13-year-old little girl who I think wanted to bum a cigarette. I think that's the only reason she even came. And I knew that. And she's like, "Yeah, okay. It's just me and you." I was like, "Just me and you?" "Well, my friend and I, we play with the Ouija board in the bathroom." She goes, "I feel like I did this to my brother." And I was like, "Well, sweetie, you may have." I was like, "But you can change that. Because no matter how many times your mother tries to kick something out of this house, you invited it in. You have to be the one that kicks it out."
I don't mess with those kind of things at all, says Rita. "I live in a very old and big house that used to belong to my in-laws. It's filled with stuff I haven't even seen yet." Yeah,
Gotta love a hoarder.
well, look, I can tell you that demonic shit it is real. Okay, witchcraft, it does work. It's not just some bullshit mumbo jumbo people tell you is out there. Witchcraft does work. Okay, um,
Steven, if you want to
you
talk,
know,
then come on, buddy. But I'm talking. I'm not going to say allegedly to make anybody feel better.
I
I know what
remember.
I'm saying. So
I remember when I was 16, and oh God, for a minute we had a band. We had a metal band. It was cool because I was a singer, by the way, guys. Because I rocked that shit. But I went over to my bass player's house and we were hanging out, and you know, we ended up like sitting there bored. We were trying to figure out something to do. So guess what? We opened the fucking Necronomicon and started fucking around with it. And you know, and shit came through or started to come through. And, we stopped, thankfully, and went and just, it stopped, but there was some fucked up shit. Okay. And
mhm.
I can promise you that shit, that shit works. It's nothing to fuck with. And it certainly is 100% evil. I learned that lesson from that point. That's when I was 16 years old. So
Well, Drew, you know the difference, and I know I've said this to
hail
you
the woke
before, but
breaker.
I wrote hail chat allegedly.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like and Steven Ransom's good people. And I
I'm
understand the
40
difference.
years old. Can't tell me
I
nothing. I'm too old to change my ways.
I understand the difference of opinion for sure. And
I
Steven
also smoke and drink, and I don't wrap my hair.
Steven, you're good people, brother, and I love you.
No worries, man. See, but this is a stomping ground, and this is something he's passionate about. And for
Mhm.
him, because of the information that he's been exposed to, like it's difficult for him to hear someone else say something he doesn't agree with. But at the same time, he wants me to
agree with him. So I mean, it's just, I mean, I have years of life-sucking time and energy that I put into this subject. And I'm not talking out my butt. And even if I was, I think people will probably take me more seriously if I lied about it, like made up a bunch of crap. The truth hurts, hurts me and it hurts you, but it's the truth. And these are all, again, stuff that I've acquired over the years. Again, Drew, do you know what the difference between knowledge and wisdom is? Wisdom is not easy to come by. Knowledge, you can read any book you want. Bill Gates, doctor, allegedly. Bill Gates, allegedly. He reads books 100% all the time, allegedly. And
allegedly.
Legitimately, like he thinks he's brilliant. But wisdom only comes through life experience, usually painful life experience. And you can't replace wisdom with knowledge, and vice versa. So, I mean, this is wisdom.
And Wakedown's right on this one. If it doesn't matter if you believe it or not,
Allegedly.
it doesn't even matter if it's real or not. 13 pagan families at the top of the pyramid believe, and they put the proof of such in front of our eyes daily.
But they worship Moloch and Baal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the stuff they're doing with the kids, allegedly, is Baphomet worship.
Yep, that's about Baphomet. It's not the dumbest thing he's ever done either. You heard some of the things he said about the Clintons.
Well, I wouldn't say anything bad about them just because I don't feel like shooting myself in the back twice and hanging myself and be considered a suicide.
Yeah, toxic masculinity just said that. Yeah, never say anything bad about the
allegedly.
Clintons. Everyone that does seem to end up dead magically. Isaac Cappy, rip.
I used to talk to him a lot.
Yeah, you remember you telling me about that.
That's just crazy to me.
Monkey Jiva says Lord Bathmat.
Yep, Lord Bathmat.
Oh man.
Haunting bathrooms left and right. Everyone gets the same treatment.
Hey, listen. All right, I'm not even kidding you. You know how hard it is to find a freaking bath mat? I had to go to 3 stores when I needed one. It was insane trying to find one.
Hashtag bath mat shortage.
It was crazy. Stephen Ransom says, truth, we are talking about the unseen and the unknown. And again, age has nothing to do with it. Good grief.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Age ain't nothing but a number.
I just pick on you because I like you.
Yeah. Fashy Washy, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Hail at Supreme Heretic and hail, Chad. Hail to you. Wakedown says age isn't really a factor. It's more about how much you've been able to uncover and expose yourself to. Oh, I love to expose myself to in order to learn more and how receptive you are to whatever you.
Spoken like a true American hero, or at least his son that loses his laptop every 5 minutes.
Toxic masculinity says Beth Bath Beyond. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, BBB. Never mind.
I got mine at Dollar Tree. Thank you. And it works.
There's your shortage right there. What's next? The eggs?
The
rug ties the room together. Yes. White Russians. That's why I blame everything on.
Oh my god. See, you guys in our corner of YouTube.
Hey, guess how many people there in the live chat right now? 17.
Mm-hmm. You guys in our corner of YouTube, I know Missy mainly from Twitter, and we've also hung out. We got another couple places that we hang out too. But I've never, other than briefly once, had the opportunity to sit down and have good long appearance for her on one of my programs. And
you
this
always
is
had
awesome.
something that's happening. You had to run. You had something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Hi, Becky. Good to see you. Wokebreaker said it is a Dollar Tree. It's $1.25.
Yep. Do you know what? You want to hear a great joke? It's not that great, but do you know what's worth less than 50 cents?
What's that?
50 cents tomorrow.
Jesus. Wake Down says, bro, some of those Hunter videos that have been dropping on Twitter all day are fucking wild. Yeah, they are.
I mean, he lost 3 freaking laptops. Of course, you're gonna see some crazy stuff.
Oh man. Healthy debate is how dialogue gets us closer to the truth. Yes, it is. Agreed, RR. Dwayne Erickson says, beware the Drew. There may come a time of an eclipse where my dong blocks out the moon or the sun. Take your pick. Or both.
No matter how bad it can get, I've already counseled through some of it, so. Right?
No, yeah, but we're talking about my dong blocking out the sun.
It is Asian. It is the land of the ever rising sun. You know, they kill prime ministers for those kinds of jokes.
Oh man.
Allegedly.
Oh god. Steven's over there probably cracking up. I know he
I
is.
bet he is. He's cool. No worries here.
Oh, I love Steven Ransom. He's one of my
He loves you just like Hunter. He likes doing hard lines of sand. Oh, in the sand. Still hard lines.
Oh, I don't know if she even watches Young Rippa Woke Breaker. You know.
Probably not. I've got my hands so full like lately. It keeps coming in like a wave, you know.
I will say this though,
just when I have like time to relax, boom, I need to do something else. It's a good thing. It's ever since I did the Alex Stein show, it's done great, you know.
I know that because let's see, I don't know. I think my phone's probably collected more dust since the last time I actually properly had a phone conversation with you.
Probably. Well, you've had a lot going on though. You had a lot of things to settle, you know. And I told you were going to be okay, and you are.
I will say this, Raker, on the Ripperverse stuff. The thing about that.
I'll write it down to look it up later.
Yeah, the thing is about Eric July that I respect about him is, you know, Eric's willing to put his money where his mouth is. And he's saying to people like Marvel and DC that put this shit out, all right, I'm done with your shit. You know, I'm going to actually make something and, you know, show you guys what having an actual character of color that's original is. So I 100% support that. I think his work's going to be awesome. And and you know what? He'll do it the old school way. He'll do it with actual organic diversity because you know what? For him, it's all about the writing.
Do you know what I'm looking to? You know what I'm looking forward to more than anything else in the multiverse these days? Is like a new Black Panther. Because now there's a multiverse. They can do it with Spider-Man.
No, I want
Black Panther.
I want a white Black Panther.
Well, somewhere, I know that people are going to like this, but somewhere in some other multiverse, in some other universe, in some other reality, there is a White Panther.
Yeah. Bassy Washy, God, just woke up. So Ghosts of Hauntings, what did I miss? All right. So basically.
Check out the song Ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, basically, Bassy Washy, I got molesticated by a ghost.
He blocked it out.
Yeah. I did.
His friends watched and did nothing.
Wait, there's a White Panther. I guess she's canceled now.
It's Z. No, you're canceled.
Oh God.
My preferred. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word, but whatever. I'll just spill it. My preferred pronoun is C next Tuesday, and I identify as a threat.
Yeah. You want to talk? Let's take a tour of Old Mansfield. I heard about that, Becky. Actually,
Old Mansfield sounds like a.
No, there's There is actually, you know, the the oh God, the comments in the chat. I can't. You guys,
Where's my
there,
cue cards when I need them?
there's no. It's just the, the, oh my gosh. Who Bassy West? She said some gay ghost touched the dog.
Old Mansfield, like Jane Mansfield, but like a dude.
Soul Assassin said Drew's not into girlfriends. Okay, that's my dad joke of the day.
You get one.
Oh my god. Bashy Westy said I've had encounters with gin myself when I was young.
Would you prefer some Grey Poop Pond?
I had
That's my dad joke.
I had encounters. I
Allegedly.
had encounters with gin too, Bashy Washy, and it kind of went like it's cold gin time again.
It looks like she wrote Dijon.
But no, Becky, the Mansfield prison out there, you know, Mansfield Penitentiary, you can go out there and you can stay the night. They actually have ghost tours of that place. That's where Shawshank was filmed. Yes, exactly.
You think your ghost was a young Mansfield? Or did they just identify as a woman?
No, man, that chick.
Old Mansfield.
No, the ghost that I encountered, you know,
Allegedly.
like I said, she I don't know if or maybe it was demonic. It definitely took over my mind and my body. So something was about it.
Do you see what R said?
I'm dead right now. I'm just dead right now.
They got legit canceled. like Clinton canceled.
Oh, I'm dead right now. This is just too much.
They got CC'd, Clinton canceled.
Man, all right, Wake. All right. You said it took over your mind and body. Those are called drugs, Drew. No, listen. I didn't even start smoking bud, bro, when I was down there. Like, you know, my friends
I didn't inhale.
My friends brought the bud, man. I didn't even
I never inhaled.
We didn't even get a chance to smoke a bowl.
Slick Drewy. Allegedly.
Oh my god, I've missed you so much. People have seen the ghost of an Indian
woman. That's racist.
People have seen the ghost of an Indian woman in a purple scarf at the hotel where my friend worked. It's scary because my friend found her body and she hung herself with the purple scarf.
Was it from a doorknob like Kate Spade, but that was a red scarf? Because the red scarf thing is a thing. There's so many people that have hung themselves from doorknobs with red scarves.
No, man, I love my audience. I love my audience.
I never
exhaled.
You did your part to help climate change. Thank you, toxic masculinity.
Oh my gosh, never change, you guys. I mean, this is the best. You guys are the best chat on YouTube. I fucking love you. I really do. Oh my gosh. This is just, oh god, it's just too much.
You ever wondered like why Bill Clinton like chose the most unattractive woman? Like dude, he was the governor. He was running drugs, right? He was like running in planes of drugs, and the best he could do is Jennifer Flowers. Really? Really? Like that's the best you could do, Slick Willie?
Monica, Ethan.
Maybe she's just the dumbest one that got caught. I do not know. But I got questions there. Yeah, Monica Lewinsky, not that hot. Plus, he let her keep that dress. That was dumb.
Well, all I got to say is...
spending $150 million on cocaine would make sense.
The stewardess won't stay in the room, but people have reported her standing at the end of the beds.
I'm glad that he got his pronouns correct there for her, him.
You should set. Wait down
Him?
says you should set up a poll, Drew. What's the least believable thing? Ghost, demons, NWO, or climate change? I think.
But they're all
climate
real.
change wins. No, they're not. Climate change is
Flat Earth wins. It's a conspiracy thirst trap.
That's
That's the best you could do, Bubba.
Toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. I don't know. I kind of let Monica slob.
Which one? Like fat Monica or Monica now? Because she straightened herself out. She looks good now.
She was fluffy.
90s Monica was wearing stage makeup at work.
Fluffy girl.
So I'm like,
man.
actress? Maybe an actress?
She was a fluffy girl.
I think I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
He woke down. Hillary totally was like banging home Aberdeen. Legit. You know how we know? Because her husband, Anthony Weiner, convenient name, who also lost a laptop. Anthony Weiner was like hooking up with all these other women the whole time they were married. You just heard about the ones that were like the 17-year-olds, right? Which may have been convenient at the time, allegedly.
No, yeah, wake down. I know it and you know it, dude. They sat there that whole for a good minute, just tossing the ball of power back and forth with the Bush family. Like, wink, wink, we're at odds. No, you're not.
Ross Perot scared the shit out of them. They did not want.
No, they didn't want none. They didn't want none of Ross.
Ron Paul too.
They didn't want nothing of the pie chart, boy. Fuck that. You come with the pie chart.
Think about it. Everything
I
was little, but everything I remember about Ross Perot is from SNL sketch.
Mm-hmm. No, he seriously, man. He waged war on him.
It goes to show you how powerful like SNL is. Well, used to be.
Yeah. Wake down said even fat Monica had to have been good at it. She was blowing the president. LOL.
If you're gonna be under a desk, it might as well be in the Oval Office.
Stephen Ransom said, I have a theory about the spherical Earth that includes a flat Earth. Both are real if you include optical and dimensional compression. Seriously.
I don't disagree with you there.
What? Come on, man.
I do not disagree with him. I think it has something to do with the antediluvian climate, though. It's a topic for another time. I'll come back to guess.
Yes, it is.
It's donut Earth anyways. It's flat and hollow.
No, but to conclude, guys, honestly, I think when you talk about the subject of ghosts, you do have to separate it because things are different entities unto themselves. The demonic entities are different. They have
personalities too,
yes, they do. I do think the shadow persons, some of them are dimensional beings.
All of them. I would say that all of them are because they don't belong here. They're not supposed to be here.
No,
they were supposed to be somewhere else. God in His infinite wisdom corrected it with Jesus, but they weren't supposed to be here at all.
As for ghosts, I still like the explanation at the beginning when we had Corey still here. When Corey said that it is and he was thinking along the same lines as Missy, temporal imprint. And
it's not imprint. When you look up the theories that explain how all time is happening at the same time, which explains God better than anything because He's omnipresent. It tells you that He knows every hair on your head. That means that God exists in all times at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible gives us more.
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab is definitely not on the up and up.
Oh, he's a fucking Nazi.
Soul Assassin says, Hollow Earth could explain all the load noises people hear coming out of nowhere. I'm like,
Load
Wait,
noises.
let's just say, mine does kind of make thunderous.
You
noise.
said it, not me. Allegedly.
I don't know.
I'm going to change my name to Frantic Missy, allegedly.
or you could just change it to allegedly Missy. I'm allegedly Missy. Not really, but maybe.
Can't quote me on that. Fact check will prove that I'm definitely alleging. I want to spell it all wrong. I want to spell it wrong too.
Oh man. Monkey Jiba says we don't really see reality for what it is. We see what keeps us alive. Correct.
Unless you dream.
I look at the existence of these buildings on a statistical line, beings on a statistical line. So many of them in so many mythological stories, and so many times in languages.
Correct. It's crazy how many gods that are supposedly dead that people still follow ritualistic things that have to do with those gods.
Stephen Ransom,
that no one worships anymore, right? I mean, there literally is a Baphomet statue in Arkansas.
Man, Stephen Ransom said there's a reason, or Wokebreaker says there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for everything if you really want to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Our hearts just sitting there cracking up. But yeah, guys, you know, Deej, I love it. There is no Deej, only soul. This is true, dude. Yeah, the thing is, guys, is listen, I'm gonna have another show coming up Tuesday, obviously, for United Resistance, 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, Tuesday we're gonna get into talking all about what the significance is of the Georgia Guidestones coming down. And also, we're going to talk about the uprising that is happening around the world in answer to the globalist takeover. So you don't want to miss the United Resistance on Tuesday. You just don't want to miss it. Period. It's going to be a good discussion.
If you don't come, Klaus Schwab is going to show up at your house in a spacesuit and bother you about eating bugs.
Oh man. Wake Down says, I don't think she got the Ghostbusters reference. Yeah.
Oh no, I missed it, darling. I'm sorry. Oh, I get okay. Got you. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit tired.
Deej says she must have the nerd card revoked.
Nah, my nerd card is strong. Allegedly.
TZ Burton says WION News was talking about Sri Lanka a month ago.
Well, wow, yeah, but I mean, everyone's been talking about Sri Lanka. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been talking about France. France has been going on for 3 years now? The LFS protests? And they keep trying to paint it as something else. The Dutch protests that were going on have been going on forever. They just now wrapped it up in something different because it was about fuel. And then it was that's the problem with these protest movements. I'm watching friends of mine. My friend Agnes, Polish Agnes. If you guys haven't checked her out, you should. Polish Agnes. Oh my God, I love this girl. She's amazing. She's a badass bitch. She's an immigrant to the United States. She went through all the stuff she had to go through. She loves America. She loves America. And she was part of these trucker convoys and all. And she watched them just get totally infiltrated and messed with. And she was at the 1776 rally in Washington the other day. And people were attacking her and coming after her for these movements. They're like, why can't we just put out a list of agreements? And I'm like, Sri Lanka, France, Italy, when they're tearing down the banks. There's these protests. Hong Kong, when they were wearing masks before we were all made to wear masks. Remember that? Before even COVID was a thing. Remember all that? It was the way they used to hide their face. These things have been going on for so long. And that's the problem with protest movements. We saw it happen at Occupy Wall Street. They can't figure out what their list of agreements is. Do you think people
had the Declaration of Independence just to have the Declaration of Independence. Like it was like, oh, we decided that this is the formal thing. No. There were groups and groups of people that within certain groups, and they were protesting for years to come up with the Declaration of Independence. That's why it was so important. And people don't understand that. These protest movements, it's very hard to get organized when you have so many different people with so many different like things. And again, people have to feed their families. You know, standing armies used to go home in the summer to go plant crops, and wars would be lost because of it, you know? And the stuff that's going on with like the Sri Lanka stuff, that's been going on for a long time. And people just need to wake up and pay attention. They need to read between the headlines. They need to like find a different news source other than like, you know, scrolling through Apple News. You're not going to get the information there. You got to go do your own research. You got to go like digging through, you know, other people's newspapers, and you got to like read stuff that isn't right, things that weren't wrong, and figure out somewhere in the middle that things make sense and things that, again, anecdotal evidence. If you see the same thing over and over again, that's probably the truth.
Oh, TZ Burton, trust, because when our schedules match up and she can do it, yes, absolutely. Because
when our cycles sync,
you know, because you know, there's just something like when you put me and you put this lady together, there's just like a synergy, and I love it.
well, we're on the same side of the same battle we've both been fighting for years. I just spilt Kool-Aid all over me. Yes, I'm poor.
Hey, I got packets of Kool-Aid too, man. So
Lots of Kool-Aid, no paper towels.
Yeah.
Nice. I was trying to hold too many things in my hand at once.
Remember, if you guys want to help out the channel, you just hit the exclamation point tip. Exclamation.
Just a tip.
Well, that later.
Allegedly.
Just
a ghost tip.
That's the advantage that the globalists have. That they're smaller numbers. They're fighting, unlike the vast populace that has so many petty differences to overcome.
I've gotten in the habit of like ending podcasts or like ending like conversations by doing like the Rihanna eye thing. I do that all the time. Just like bye, because like anybody who knows anything or knows me well enough, like knows better, but it gets all the idiots out of the way, so I can talk to the people that like want to be honest and like actually talk. You know.
Sounds like a party. A single lady poops Kool-Aid all over her body.
I don't know what kind of parties you've been to, but I'm a little bit concerned about your social life.
I can only afford warming.
It's better than Live Aid.
Dude, facts. Oh my God. Kool-Aid, pass the picture, Drew.
Don't pee in the pool if you're drinking a bunch of Kool-Aid. People are going to know.
Wake Down says, as the clown world turns. Yes, indeed, dude. Deej says, the Pink Bunny needs to run through the Cleveland Brown Stadium. It would be the most excitement there in decades. All right, fuck you, Deej. You know, Deej, if you wind up coming here, dude, oh my God. It's about to like turn you into a Cleveland fan.
Drew, I have a confession to make.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Cowboys fan.
No, I know you are.
Okay.
I remember you telling me.
Making sure you know.
Yeah. But hey, you got my Ohio State boy. You got Zeke Elliott on the team. That's right.
Is the Pink Bunny a new kind of Kool-Aid I'm not aware of yet?
No. Deej is one of my buddies from YouTube. And on his channel, every so often, he legit dresses up in a Pink Bunny suit.
Like, oh my God. Like Gummo?
Yeah, he legit will just throw on a Pink Bunny suit.
Do you know what Gummo? Never mind. Some other time.
Rita,
it's about your neck of the woods. So
Rita says, Drew, I think your intro and exit song should be House of the Rising Sun. Well, they don't like the Rising Sun symbol. Apparently, they think that's racist now.
Or Japanese.
Mm-hmm. The Seattle Seahawks are woke as hell. They should wear pink.
Like a Bill Burbitt.
Deej says the Bears. Because he's an Illinois boy.
Hey, don't say Beetlejuice 3 times. You'll end up with the mayor of Chicago in your house.
Dwayne says all the panel and chat were great tonight. Great show. Yes, it absolutely was.
Oh, thank you.
Toxic masculinity says, pour your Kool-Aid on me.
Hey, that's how the drummer from Dead Leopard only has one arm.
Deed says, Ralphie, Christmas story. I even have the Red Ryder BB gun. Jeez, yep, nerd card revoked.
I have two. They're at my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
They had a raccoon issue for a little while.
Yeah, Steven says, hail Dwayne Erickson, cheers with the beers. Beautiful chat. Great show, Drew and Missy. You know,
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that Missy came on, you know, and I'm glad that that I got to introduce her more to you guys and you know, and let you guys experience the awesomeness that is Missy. Because she knows stuff about stuff, and I love that. You know, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. She's a fearless one. And
it's hard being blonde and gifted.
I absolutely respect that about her. So, yeah, she's got a standing invite anytime, guys, you know, and I'll have her on again.
You see the...
Oh, my gosh. Yes, I have to agree, dude.
As punishment, I'm going to make you shave your eyebrows off and draw them on yourself. Drunk.
Oh my god. I would hate to see what happened if we got hammered together. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm not allowed. Take away the power tools. We could build some shelves. It could get weird.
The Soul Assassin says, yikes. No, knowing what I know about you, we'd wind up weirdly playing like a board game or something. I know this.
Probably Catan. And I probably whoop your ass.
Absolutely.
So I play in VR all the time.
Soul Assassin says, yikes. Nice. Drew, send me the link for 30 seconds. All right, man. DJ, it's the greatest 30 seconds of your life. That's what she said.
Allegedly.
Oh my gosh.
Hide the batteries.
Oh, God.
How do you hide batteries? Well, I know the Clinton does.
Oh, God.
That's how you shoot yourself in the back twice.
No, now we're bringing up back shots.
Apparently, a Deadpool first date.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I've done so many panel shows lately. I've made like cards because like everyone talks over me because you know, girl. So I like made all these stupid cards like so I can like interject my opinion without having to say anything at all, like this one.
Yeah, that's why I always thought Pitfall had a double meaning of the game.
What's a double? Never mind. I want to know.
All right. See,
this is my favorite.
There's Deej.
Rainbow rollerblades.
Yep.
And the Amazon symbol. There's a dip on every box.
So Deej has the Red Ryder BB gun. Yeah, he's got the pink.
Mine's at my parents' house. Otherwise, I'd pull it out too. Damn it. Allegedly.
Yep.
I'm a crack shot. I'm a crack shot with a Daisy Red Ryder, which is hard to do.
Thanks, Deej. Oh, all right. Our night is complete, folks. We got.
Why did he go? I could have put on a stupid hat too. I've got several.
We had the buddy. All right. Take care. Wake down. Steven Hansen falls in holes. Deadpool first date. Yes.
Or a golfing nightmare.
Oh man.
For you, not for me.
TC Burton says you have to keep panels small for the reason of talking over each other. Yes, absolutely.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Well, shoot your eye out, kid. TC Burton says, why does Deej have that costume? I have questions. Deej Just let Deeds will explain it on one of his streams. Seriously.
Let me ask you a question. When celebrities get a black eye, do you think that eye is a POC?
What?
Because like they all end up with a black eye every once in a while.
Right.
Do you think their eye is a person of color?
No, I think just like somebody punched him in the face for being stupid.
As OJ says, black eyes matter.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Well, I guess that is a good evening.
Yes.
It is late.
That's right. So we will see you guys later. Take it easy. Good night, folks.
Hang on. Oh shit! I just dropped my iPad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hi, Coast Casino.
Hey, welcome to Sparking News Podcast. My name is Scott.
I'm E. Temple Queen of the Place to Be Reviews.
I am the Patriot, True Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic.
The Red Gaze on YouTube, at the Red Gaze on Twitter.
What up?
Hello, everybody. It's me, Vinny.
The voice of Immortal Coil.
Oh, hey, I am the Ghost Bear.
What's going on, Tommy? You didn't get anybody to like that?
Yeah, I'm Wes Moody of the Wes Moody Webcast.
Tony, Death, rockin'.
I mean, we have a lot of cool things over there. I did some magic tricks.
Hi, guys. Try to stay